This thing on? What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and we're making a video that I didn't think that we'd be making for potentially a while. So, big question on the channel is where is Sean? And that was a big question for me up until about maybe 3 hours ago. I'm over here at Sean's house, as you can see, got the old Challenger 2-post lift, and we got Sean. Sean,
hey,
how you doing?
how you guys doing?
Welcome.
Fresh out of
I was
jail.
gonna say welcome back. So there's been some comments on the channel. Obviously, first one, what is it?
Well, honestly, I haven't even seen any of them or responded or been on there. I quite frankly haven't had the time. But I guess I've had a few friends that were like, everybody's saying you're in jail, and I guess not everybody. I don't know if people deleted some comments or what, but I was under the impression that a bunch of people were basically saying that I was in jail, back in jail, prison, whatever. But I'm not. Haven't been. Been right here in my garage. So
His home garage.
my home garage, yeah.
Sean has a 3-car garage at his house, and obviously the old 2-post lift front that used to be at the old shop, and he's essentially always done like side work.
Yeah, since that's how we know each other. Basically, it was like working on cars and
4-wheelers.
flipping them. Yeah, 4-wheelers, cars, anything automotive. Basically, just that's how we met each other in middle school. And so basically, I've always done that. And then recently, kind of been overwhelmed with that personally, with personal stuff or customer stuff I've been working on. And basically, Trevor left town to go to PRI. When was that? December what?
December something.
At the end, like around Christmas or something?
Yeah. Well, no, PRI, you were messing with the S14.
There was something different then.
And I went to Florida.
Oh, then I'm
After
thinking
that,
of
yeah.
something else. But
It
basically,
was still the end of December. It was like the middle of
Yeah.
December. PRI was the beginning
okay.
of December.
We had a discussion about hourly, right?
Yeah, so I guess for the past 2 years, Sean has been salary. So he's just a salary-based salary, kind of like our agreement was like, 40 hours a week, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, kind of
basically like
throughout the year.
10 to 6 or 9 to 5 or whatever it was. It's pretty much like 10 to 6. And obviously sometimes there'd be days where you're not there. Some days there'd be weekends. Sometimes you go to the drag races, all that other stuff. But no matter what, it was just a salary. It was set up as a direct deposit, automatic withdrawal, like out of the business account. That's how we had like the payroll set up because he's a W-2 employee. And we did a lot of that stuff essentially, I guess, so you could get a house.
Yeah,
Or,
basically, I was, my wife and I were trying to buy a house, and she had a job for like 6 years at the time, and I had been, the bank is super persistent on basically consistency. They don't care if you've had, they just want to see 2 years of consistent income. So we basically did it like that, kind of benefit both of us, but me mostly in the aspect of showing the bank income to purchase a home. So
Yeah.
we did that, accomplished that. Obviously, we bought this house back in March of last year, so it's almost been a year. That's
You
crazy.
got in like probably the
right
last
before things went crazy.
the last week before the interest rates went crazy. So
so
he
got a
actually
good
got
interest rate. So
a decent thing. And kind of the first thing that he did when he got in this, or the reason he even bought the house was because of the garage.
yeah.
3-car garage. It's kind of almost double deep over here, not quite double, but pretty decent setup. But when he first moved in here, it was just ugly. There was no insulation, no paint, no really good lighting. It was basically a giant mess. I'll have him send me a picture of it before. And literally the first time I came over here, he's like, I think it was the first day you even moved into the house.
Yeah,
Like we came over here at night, and he ripped off all the shelves. I'm like, why are you taking off all that shelving? And he's like, no, I have a vision for it. Like I want it clean, I want it nice, I want to paint the floors, I want to paint the wall, I want to drywall it, insulate it, and basically have his own, workspace. And
It's big enough to where I wish it was bigger. Just like I'm sure everybody wishes their garage or their workspace was bigger. Even at the shop now, they're 5,000 square feet. Like it almost needs to be bigger.
Yeah.
But that's how it goes. But it's big enough, to where I can, have multiple vehicles in here, multiple projects, whatever. Like right now, it's full of 4-wheelers and motorcycles and stuff because I've kind of been doing some stuff with that lately. But yeah, we found the house, bought the house. Obviously my wife and I together, we have 6 children together. So big house, it's a 5-bedroom house. The kids are, they're some of them are real young and little, so they can share bedrooms and stuff for now until we build a bigger house down the road. But so basically that worked out. So I've been here basically it's been about a month, I think.
mm-hmm.
Like it's the middle of January, so like a month.
So also, I don't know if you guys heard that last part. 6
Yeah.
kids. Like if anybody has like 1 or 2 kids, it's a lot. It's a lot to handle. It's a lot to deal with, and it's just a lot of time.
A lot of work,
you know.
time.
So there's a lot of things that Sean has to deal with, kind of on a consistent basis of, stuff with his kids. He's got to leave early or late, or, certain days don't work. So we kind of went to a more of a, instead of 5 8-hour days, it was 4 10-hour days. And then, sometimes there were still, I guess, things that would kind of come up where
I'm a very busy person, like, between just everything, I'm a very busy person.
Yeah. And
more
so
busy than the normal person.
Kind of what we decided was that, it's pretty much like, it doesn't make sense to do salary for me anymore because, obviously the hours that you're here versus the ones that I guess I'm paying you for weren't really working. And it was one of those things where he could also potentially use that time, like instead of showing up at the shop and like having to be there because he owes me these hours, it's like I could work at my garage at my house and make money with there. So we kind of had that, basically the hourly discussion.
And it was like a really quick discussion because we had talked about it for a few months leading up. And like when we actually like implemented that, it was like, if I remember correctly, it was like almost in passing because I think I was like at the shop for the day. You were coming to the shop like late, like in the afternoon. I was getting ready to leave, and I was like,
that was when
I was going somewhere.
The guys from Australia were there.
Yeah, so we talked about it.
And I think I was flying out that night because we were going to PRI.
You were like in a hurry. I was in a hurry. We had like, all right, well, hey, let me know. You're going to be gone this next week. I'm leaving right now. Let me know. Like, send me a message. Or, let me know. Because we didn't have like a project going on that day. The S14, but that was when the
S14,
bearings and all that stuff. So we were like kind of.
I think so. Essentially, I left at PRI. The S14, you were still there, like salary technically. And then it was when I got back from I basically got back from PRI, and that was when we decided, okay, we can't make it to Florida with the S14. When I was at PRI, basically Sean had it fully torn down, pulled the whole engine, training.
It was worse than
was going to put like new bearings in it, but then the crankshaft turned out to be a little bit worse. The cylinder head had some scoring in it. So it's like, it doesn't make sense to just slap this thing back together to rush to a drift event in Florida. I could rent a car from Adam. There was only really like that week in between. I think you kind of had some things. There wasn't really anything going on at the shop. So I think it was when I got back from PRI, we had the discussion, okay, let's just do hourly. Like obviously the holidays are coming up, Christmas, New Year's, all that other stuff.
Yeah, it was that time of the year. So everything's busy. Everybody's busy. There's a million things going on.
And he also had a lot of stuff here at the house, customer work.
Four customer jobs here. And actually I just finished the last one like last week. So in the last 3 weeks, I had some pretty big jobs. So.
And then so essentially I went to Florida. When we were in Florida, there wasn't really anything for him to do at the shop. The S14 was torn apart. The 7.3 Mustang was torn apart on the lift. There was no parts. There wasn't really a plan. So I guess there wasn't really much communication.
I didn't hear from you, and like I knew you were out of town, so I just kind of stayed home, and I basically dove into the things that I had here that normally I would have done on the weekends or after work or before work or whatever, and just kind of dove into it, and then got really busy with that, and then I wasn't the best communicator with Trevor at first. I'll give him that. Because I didn't know, there's a lot of things. I didn't know what I was doing, I don't know what Trevor was doing. And then, I think I went to your house, a few days after helped fix some stuff.
As soon as I got back from Florida, we got a shipment of our, basically, hoodies. We were waiting on, I don't know, it was like 60 hoodies or something to finish everything with a giveaway. And, he was sitting there and he was talking to me. And this was after we already agreed for hourly. So he came over, it was middle of the afternoon or whatever. I was like, cool, just keep let me know your hours or whatever. And he was the whole time we're sitting there packaging things, he was telling me about eBay, and hey, obviously why I was gone, he bought, I think it was 2 or 3 3-wheelers.
Well, I've always been a hustler. We both have. You used to sell bubble gum on the school bus. And we've always, if there's a way to make money and it's in our wheelhouse, then sign me up, So I used to do it before on a lot smaller scale than even now, but eBay, there's everything in the world for sale on eBay. There's everybody in the world looking for whatever it is on, it's just a really good platform. They're expensive, a lot of fees, but it's a really good platform for a lot of people make a living on it actually at very large scales. But I've always been, obviously automotive, and even more so now than before. There was that video we made a year or so ago, year and a half ago in the shop when we had 30 power sports and or whatever. But always, go-karts, 3-wheelers, 4-wheelers, dirt bikes, motorcycles, all that stuff. So I've, over the last few months been kind of acquiring more and more, find a good deal on a 4-wheeler, motorcycle, whatever. So with no rhyme or reasoning to it. And I was like, oh, well, eBay. I used to do eBay before, so I was like, well, I'll have all this stuff in my garage. There's, especially depending on what stuff you buy and what stuff you find, there's some parts on certain older bikes that are worth a lot of money. So kind of found some for sale and just started the trend with that. And, you know, now not only do I not have time to do anything, but now I added one more thing to my plate, which is eBay. So we were talking that day at the shop, and I kind of went, head first into eBay again, and it's,
Well, he was just sitting there like so excited of like, oh, I bought this 4-wheeler for $600.
I sold the seat pan and I got my profit back.
And he's like, it was basically like that week he sold and he made some decent money off of the literally 2 3-wheelers that he bought and like the random parts that he had laying around his garage. And so I was like, cool, like that's awesome. Like he's gonna do this like little, and we were talking. I guess we've had a lot of big conversations about like moving forward. It's like the biggest one is like, how do we make more money? Obviously, like I have bills. The overhead at the shop is really expensive when you have like my salary, the shop rent, taxes, insurance, W-2, workman's comp, like business insurance, salary employee, wage withholding, all that stuff. The Shopify store, we have a lot of stuff set up with like apps for text messaging, and a lot of that stuff is like signed up on yearly plans.
The money's just flying out of there basically.
Tons of money, and obviously the YouTube channel, if you see the views, like they don't really pay for probably even a third of it, not even, with that stuff. So really the primarily, I guess, source of income for like Motion Auto has been like giveaways or like kind of buying and selling stuff on the side. And one of the whole reasons we even moved out to the junkyard was because it previously used to be a junkyard, was to like start an eBay store, and buying and selling, parting out trucks or fixing trucks or flipping trucks or getting a dealer license. And there's, so like as soon as he started saying that, I'm like, because he was so excited about, like himself, and like doing that stuff. And I'm like, all right, maybe, I hope, hopefully, I knew that he wasn't going to be able to do like 40 hours a week at the shop. And, sometimes, but leading up to this point, there just wasn't that many times. Obviously, he's the type of guy where if he has an hour or a downtime day, like he's going to fill it with stuff to do.
Yeah.
If I say, hey, Sean, we have like tomorrow, or if let's say we agreed of like 2 weeks, or even how it was like, basically like I almost had your full attention, but as soon as I lost his attention because I went out of town and he didn't have anything to do for a week, he just like filled in the gap.
Busy, yeah.
Because he has so much stuff on top of not only the things that I had to do like for him at the shop, but like his own things, his family, his personal life,
bills,
working.
Yeah. The biggest thing is bills. Like, I basically, obviously, I got out of prison like 2.5 years ago. I had nothing, started working with Trevor right away.
Basically, the day that he got out, he started working.
So,
with me,
basically, I met my wife and stuff now. We're married now, obviously. She had an apartment at the time, so I kind of started staying there, because I was obviously living back with my parents, fresh out of prison, basically. And girlfriend had an apartment, so we stayed there, and it was like, like $600 a month from both of us, like cool.
Well, she also had a job.
She had a job too at the time. She had been there for 6 years, and then so basically we were like, we were at this apartment, and we were like, this isn't gonna cut it, like it's like parties and loud, and we have kids. It's not safe. It just wasn't enough space. So at the time, she had a job for 6 months. For 6 years, but didn't make enough money to front the loan that we needed for the house of the size that we needed. So I had been working with Trevor for, obviously at that time only a few months, but we were like, all right, let's find something.
I think it was almost maybe it was about a year.
Let's find something that we can rent, because we can't buy a house yet, because the bank was super adamant on 2 years of consistent income from both parties involved on the loan, which, makes sense. So found a place, a duplex, which was actually not bad for us at the time. It was a lot bigger than the apartment. So we lived there. We had a 12-month lease of the duplex. Basically, last month of there, into the 10 months into the duplex, that's when we went back to the bank. At that point, we had 2 years of income under my belt. She had plenty of time under her belt with her job. And the bank said, all right, here you go. You're pre-approved for, this much. And at the time, that was when the housing market, at least here, was very crazy. It was before interest rates skyrocketed, but the houses were flying off the market as soon as they were for sale. So we looked around, and it's pretty funny because we have a friend, my wife's friend she's a real estate agent. So she's like, hey, I have this house for you guys now that you're pre-approved. Come check it out. So we came and checked it out one night, like 8 o'clock, pulled up in the driveway, and, first place we looked at, there was already like 3 other offers, I guess, on it that day. So we put in an offer, and I think 2 weeks later or so, 2 or 3 weeks later, it's kind of a long process in between there with filling out paperwork and sending. It's pretty wild, but we bought the house. So basically now that we're here and we have the house, and so what I was getting at with that though is we went from paying $600 a month a piece with me and my wife paying $1,200 a month to a duplex, which was like $1,400 a month. Then we had a baby. We got married. We had a baby. So then we had the baby, and then my wife is now a stay-at-home mom. So she quit her job, and so she stays home full time. And now we have a $2,500 a month mortgage on top of you have utilities, trash, cell phone, water, all of it, food, and then on top of hobby. If you have a hobby, you're throwing money down the drain all the time on stupid stuff like we do. So it's expensive, and that's kind of like where that's with that hustler mentality. You're always looking for a way to make some more money, or the next thing that brings income or profit or whatever. So basically just got really busy with doing this stuff, and Trevor was out of town, and I have a small little LLC where I do customer work, mechanic work, and typically it's not too busy because I don't take a lot of jobs on that I could or should.
It sounds pretty busy,
but I kind of pick and choose with stuff that I like to take on, but very busy. So that's kind of what happened. And Trevor really didn't, we were kind of, I think at the time obviously I'm sure as you guys have kind of been aware and have known, sometimes we're always trying to figure out what we should be doing with the channel. Like, what's the next move? What's the next build? Like, the C10, like that was, terrible in the long run, because we ended up doing a really good job on something like we would on anything, but it just took us a lot more time and effort and money and work than we thought it would.
It just took effort and resources away from
other things. So there was some frustration there that, may have not been expressed, I think, like to you guys as viewers or whatever. Internally, then, there's no drama with Trevor. I don't want to kill him. I hope you don't want to kill me. It's probably a good idea that you don't try.
I kind of did, but
none of that. I didn't go to jail. You won't see me back in jail. I can promise you that. Nothing like that. I was not as communicative with Trevor as I should have been. One was being very busy, and two was more or less kind of just not knowing what to say. Like, he didn't know what to think because I wasn't saying anything, and I didn't know what to say because he didn't know what to think. And
well, then
basically,
essentially, it was a huge lack of communication and
on my part, for sure. Yeah.
And it was like I didn't even know what to tell these guys, because I didn't even know, because it was like we went from having this big conversation to kind of like almost let's take an assumed let's take this 2 weeks off or whatever for the holidays. Like, obviously he's super busy. I'm busy.
I had some health. My dad had some health problems too, so that was
And then I texted him on Christmas, and I was just like, hey, Merry Christmas, whatever. And he didn't text me back. I was like, oh, that's weird. And on his phone it showed delivered. But
so I did drop my phone, and I broke me and my wife and our daughter, our oldest daughter, we went and got a phone plan and all got new phones and stuff. And I dropped my phone working one night, and then the screen was lit up, but you could not see anything. It would vibrate and buzz, but it didn't work. So, and it's a new phone, iPhone 14, so you can't get on Amazon with my older phone. You order a glass, and I thought you could, so I was like, all right, call Mr. Order. Couldn't do it. Couldn't find one. So basically, I reached out to Trevor off my wife's phone. I was like, hey, dude, my phone's broken. If you're trying to get hold of me,
a week later.
well, I don't remember whatever. Probably. Again, this was during the time of the non-community,
In that time, I was just so confused, because you were literally at my house 3 days before shipping packages. We're talking about the eBay thing and you doing all your own stuff, and I was just kind of in the back of my head, I'm like, oh man, I don't really want to lose Sean to doing his own thing, because that was what I was afraid of even doing the hourly thing in the first place, because then I just knew I was going to lose his attention. It's if he's salary, it's okay, he I
felt obligated,
kind of,
and it was good and it was bad, because there's times when I had stuff going on, and obviously I couldn't be there. I felt bad because I'm still getting paid, and then vice versa. It just, the hourly thing had made more sense, and
so I thought I was doing everything right. I'm like, okay, cool. He needs extra time for his family. He needs time to make money on the side, but I still need him too. And it wasn't, and there was no hey, I'm gonna go and do my own thing. It was just text, nothing. That week where he didn't say anything, and then that whole thing with your dad happened. I came over one night and ran some codes on the Explorer with he got a new scanner. And if you guys can tell, he has a really well set up shop
mess right now because it's full of crap.
For Christmas they just went out and got a bunch of jack stands and tools and a new scan tool and all kinds of things like that. So like I came over and was like using the scan tool, and like that was when everything with his dad was happening. So
my dad was in the ICU for damn near a month.
So we didn't really talk, and then essentially like we've been trying over this last. It's almost been a month now.
Yeah.
It's like I've been like, hey, look, can we talk today? Can we do this? And then we like text back and forth, and it was kind of one of those things where like we're not going to have this conversation over text, and you know we just needed to do it in person. And it's like, man, I'm just getting so frustrated because I'm like, is he ignoring me? Like, what did I do? Is he like, fuck you, Trevor? Or is he just like, and I almost knew that I feel like it's one of those things where he knows how much, I guess, his like effort means to me in like the business, but he also has this obligation with his family. So he's kind of stuck in between where he's like,
yeah, it's all, we talked for like the last 3 hours here, you know, and it's all money. It all boils down to money. And like,
well, and I think
for me,
not necessarily, the money, but like for me, it was the lack of communication. Cause like if he could have just told me, hey, give me a month. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know what to say to you right now, but I still haven't told him. And I still haven't said it. I haven't. Like we were sitting here talking about making the video. I was like, do you want to make a video? And I was like, I feel like we owe them something, but like up until this point, I don't even know what I'm going to say. And even right now, it's like, we've talked about like, I mean, really like potentially how something could work if he did certain things, but also at the same time, like talking about him just kind of continuing to do.
Cause I basically, like in the midst of all this, like I was more or less, I guess it's called ignoring Trevor in a way, but I wasn't doing it out of there wasn't any like hostility or anything of that nature between either one of us. So like I was like, Trevor wanted to talk and I like kind of wanted to talk. I just didn't know what to say. And like, I even like went and signed up on YouTube and like made a channel basically of my own. Cause I was going to like basically sit down in front of my phone and just kind of talk to my phone about
waiting for that.
My feelings. And it wasn't going to be like a F you Trevor or screw you Trevor video. Cause I don't really have anything to say.
And that's the thing is that like, I knew that I didn't do anything wrong. And I knew that he didn't do anything wrong. It was just this like,
we both know like where we're at.
Dilemma. Like, and I was so frustrated just because I couldn't even talk to you. But it was like, even today, I knew as soon as this conversation happens, it's going to be a 3 to 4 hour thing. It's not like it's, oh, hey, I'm going to stop by and talk for 10 minutes. It's like, no, this is real. This is a big thing. Like me and Sean have known each other since middle school. We've done so much stuff together. And like we had obviously really big plans together. And I think that one thing that nobody sees about like YouTube and friends is that like
behind the scenes stuff.
Behind the scenes and actually the business. Like this didn't start out as like, I'm not a businessman.
No.
Like I'm a guy that started off making videos, working on cars because I loved them and I still love them. But like in trying to work on them, get to the point to where you can work on your cars for fun with your friends. But the bad thing is it costs so much money. And it's like, how can I afford to pay Sean more when I don't have his like full attention? Like, yeah. And it's like, we're almost there. And like we
were there.
We
were there for a long time. And the issue was, but I didn't have the bills then that I do now. So it's like, as time went on, you know, like there was frustrations about some stuff with, you know, just life in general and work and everything, as everybody has. And then my bills progressively have gotten more and more expensive because I knew what I was getting myself into. It's not anything that I can't handle. It's just the manner in which I handle it in, you know, basically so that, you know, and that now it's like one of those things where like, okay, now I do have all of my attention over here on my own stuff with my own family and my own projects and my own goals and stuff. And, you know, Trevor basically is kind of more or less high and dry because he has all of his own stuff to take care of with the business and, you know, doesn't have all of the time that's necessary to go out and do the things that I was doing. So now it's like, now he's wondering what's going on. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing with my own stuff for him, with him, whatever, and you know, move forward. So,
well, it's just complicated, you know, because I mean, I think this is, you know, overall the goal is like I said, like a lot of people are like, oh, Trevor, what do you want to do with your life? Or what do you, and I'm like, even what we're talking about today is like, what do you even want to do? And I'm like, I am doing it. Like I like working on cars with my friends, or like I want to work with.
It's not fun by yourself. Like it's working on anything by yourself is
So it's like there's not really anything that I want to do to change it. Is I want to make it work better. I obviously want to be able to make more money to where like we don't necessarily have to do these giveaway things. And you guys will learn a little bit more. Actually, I'm doing something different with the merchandise for the fulfillment. That was a whole other thing. Is like on top of working on cars during the day and paying the bills and emails and sponsors, and video stuff and filming things and taking care of all that aspect, the merchandise and the fulfillment for the giveaway, which was the only thing that was making money, was at my house in my shop. And me and Jamie were the ones shipping and fulfilling, and we'd have some people come in, a couple hours a week here and there, but it wasn't consistent. So it's like, at the end of the day, it's like I would be at work and then also at work and then come home, and then it would almost be more work. So like my brain could never really turn off. So there was a lot of times like where, I don't know, I mean, obviously like me like buying project cars. I mean, that's been a conversation in the thing is like, oh, people like Sean just didn't like working on all of Trevor's random.
Well, yeah, for sure. And
projects.
like that, it was, I even told Trevor one day, I gave him, not an ultimatum, but I was just like, I see the bigger picture here with this YouTube thing, working on cars together, just like you do. If you want me to come here, for X amount of dollars an hour and basically work on cars that you're going to flip to make money, I can just do that at my house for myself and then make more money personally for myself. And like, he understands that from that sense, but also I get his point of view where like, he needs me to be there to do things that he needs to have done for the betterment of the business or whatever, so we can basically keep trucking. And there's, being friends and money and business and all that, it does get very complicated, especially when you're good friends and you have a long history and whatnot. And that's just, kind of what everything boils down to is that, obviously I'm sure you guys have known and seen from, the past couple of years, there's plenty of things that Trevor does that I don't always agree with or think is the right thing to do. And he probably feels the same way about me in some things. And that's just kind of how any situation or relationship is. But, we're all like, I don't want to be in a position, and I know Trevor doesn't either, where we're just running in circles and chasing our tails. And like, like he just said, the giveaway thing, like, he doesn't even necessarily want to have to do those, but they've most definitely been necessary recently more than ever to keep the lights on and to keep things going.
And also, I guess, so Sean was tied to like a percentage of the profits of the giveaway. And on a couple of the last ones recently, it was like kind of just essentially
the C10 takes so much time.
A break even type of thing where it's like, okay, here's this bonus if we do this, but then it didn't happen. And then it was like, I think as that went along,
because I'm counting on like essentially that bonus or that extra pay at the end of the giveaway or the month to take care of stuff I have to take care of. And he knows that,
and I think that's where kind of the decline in like effort
and communication and like care even like I admitted to him, I said, like my effort and my drive and motivation to go to work and to work on the stuff and to be there, it has definitely decreased, and I'm not proud to say that.
And that's one thing, I guess, that like people don't see that in the videos. Obviously, like if Sean's having a bad day, I'm not going to go over there and film him. Or if I'm having a bad day, I'm not going to start filming it and be like, oh, start talking all kinds of stuff to the camera or anything like that. So there's a lot of things like behind the scenes, frustrations both ways.
Yeah, no, 100%. You're frustrated at me for things I was or wasn't doing, and I'm frustrated at you for, doing things that I don't think you should be doing in this time.
Like buying project cars. And I guess the project car thing too is like, I'm like, I know that like, just like the RV, that there's potential. I feel like I'm like I don't know, like an addict for like buying things, but like I'm really good at justifying things, as you guys know.
Yeah.
But like the RV, it's like he literally told me not to buy that RV. Do not buy that RV, whatever. But I knew, I'm like, okay, what'd I do? I went and bought the RV, sold it, made 10 grand, gave him like a percentage.
10 grand with how much time and headache though? How many distractions did that RV cause that could have, led us on to big, and, but at the end, it's one of those things. We're not over here swimming in money and doing this just for the hell of it. Like you're trying to do these things and buy that RV or buy these other cars because that extra 10 grand can really benefit you right now because you don't have $500,000 over here that you can just go kind of, grab from if you need to.
Or we don't have like the time, or we're recovering from like a giveaway that didn't
We've
do so
just been
well.
spending the shop thing, like even to go back to that, like talk about a couple of years of like kind of hell in the scheme of things. Like we had that shop situation at the original shop for that went on for months. Everything was up in the air of if we were getting kicked out, if we were staying, if we were leaving, if we were going. Should we start this project because tomorrow we might not have this? You know, it was.
We might not have the
And
room.
then moving, and then that other shop is still not set up. Just last month got the other lift set up, and we've been there since April or whatever of last year.
Yeah. So I guess I'm kind of in a weird position because I feel like this has obviously like happened before, you know, with me and like previous people, other friends and stuff in the past, which is like, it's rough. I'm not going to say it's like easy or everything is perfect, you know, but like, it's like when I need them the most, or like the friends or the people that I put in the position, invested the years to like move forward with, is like, okay, this is going to be rough. All right, we're going to get to this point. All right, now it's time to go. It's like, I feel like right then is like, all right, I'm going to go do my own thing. That's where I'm like,
well, there's no good time. There wouldn't be a good or a bad, like there wouldn't be a good time no matter when the time was for anybody to leave a position like this, where basically, especially because it's basically Trevor and I. It's not Trevor, I, and 10 other dudes, so I can leave and it really doesn't affect the
It was
operation.
literally me and Sean at the shop.
It doesn't, you know, it's
all the
two
time.
of us. So like there's, you know, you have two people that make up 100%, one leaves, now you have 50%. Well, 50% can't do 100%'s job. So, you know, it's not.
And that was on top of me doing the merchandise stuff too.
Exactly. And other stuff.
Like, so the merchandise has been delegated somewhere else. We're doing a third-party fulfillment with that, and we'll talk about that more in the future. So now I'm, I guess, freed up a little bit more. Obviously, Garrett has been at the shop kind of working, but like even with that, it's like he's also leaving in I think about 5 months. He's moving.
He's moving to the East Coast or something. Moving out. So like now I'm like, okay, I technically have the shop at my house. Should I move there? But it all goes back to like, I don't want to do this by myself, you know. But like how, well, especially because you've come from already doing that.
And I think you know, if I could pay Sean $10,000 a month tomorrow, he would be like,
and we wouldn't be in this position because
I'm
that's the biggest thing. Is it's not even, you know, it wasn't a matter of me like. Again, I you know, there are and have been and were frustrations with a lot of things behind the scenes, and that was one of those things that will probably never change, especially when you're friends. You know, friends go back and forth and bicker and BS and all the time and don't agree, whatever. But for me, the biggest thing is the money, and it's not even a matter of, you know, Trevor's undervaluing me or not taking care of me.
It's not that there's not even money there to like.
That's what I'm saying.
Give.
Yeah, it's not that like you're taking advantage of me because I'm worth, you know, $100 an hour and you're paying me 10. It's not even a matter of that. I understand that as his, you know, employee and friend. So no hard feelings with that. But
and he's like seen the numbers too.
Yeah, like I have a good idea of what everything looks like.
We've ran everything like
Trevor's bank goes negative just as much as mine does, so it's fine. But
well, mine actually doesn't go negative. I just extend the limits on the credit cards, so they just keep going over there.
You know, for me, it's just, you know, I've finally put myself and my family in this position where obviously we wanted and needed to be for some time, and I'm very glad that I was in a position to do so. And I do thank Trevor for giving me the opportunity to, you know, come and work with them and do all the cool stuff that we have done in the past, and be able to, you know, use that and put myself in this position that I'm in now, personally with me and my family and stuff. So it's great, but it's just very, you know, a lot of bills, and like nobody wants to live to pay your bills and die. Like you want to live, you want to pay your bills, and you want to have some money so you can have some fun and do some stuff.
Go do things with your friends.
Exactly. It's this weird thing. So that's, you know, right now that's kind of where things are with me and with, you know, Trevor's trying to figure out his stuff with the logistics of, you know, the behind the scenes stuff with the channel and the projects, and even like you said, the fulfillment and like moving forward, and how do we, you know, make things start making more money and more sense. And like, you know, in the meantime, I'm over here doing what I have to do to take care of me and mine, and you know, anybody, that's what anybody would and should do. And that's and
I think that's even the first thing I told him when I got up here. I'm like so frustrated. I'm like, if anything, I would have respected him the most if he would have said, look, I'm sorry, I need to do this for me and my family. And that was the biggest frustration, is it literally just didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And it was just like this.
How to tell my buddy that I work for, that like, hey, I'm not coming back to work ever, or right now, or whatever. And like I said,
we still don't know.
I still haven't said, because I don't know, you know, like it's, you know, I want to see like he wants to see change in me, and I want to see change in him, and I want to see, you know, a green amount of money in my bank and not a negative sign before it, and that's not your fault necessarily, but you know, we're two people, we're real dudes, we're trying to figure our stuff out just like everybody else, and especially right now, the world's crazy, everything's ridiculously expensive, like
Everything.
it's just wild.
You got to pay for bags at the store?
Yeah, I don't buy it. I'll load up a whole shopping cart of stuff in the back of my truck before I buy bags. I'm not paying for no damn bag.
But yeah, I mean, it all comes down to that this isn't.
There's no drama. There's no hostility. I guess I need to be a better communicator. You know, and I told him, you know, moving forward from here on out, like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to give you an answer of something I can't promise or promise you something I can't give or whatever. And, you know, but I will communicate with you and, you know, stay in touch and kind of go from there, you know?
Because we still haven't said it, like, are you just doing your own thing for now?
Right now, yeah. For right this moment, yeah. But that doesn't mean
So
that I can't do my own thing and can't still be a part of what you have going on in some fashion, which I do need to, you know, I know he's in a position where he can't wait around forever no matter how much he wants to. You know, he needs to have somebody that can be there. And I told him,
But also,
you know,
like,
at some point in this, I said, hey, if you need to bring somebody on or something to take care of things in the meantime, and that like, I understand that. I know you don't want to do that, and I understand that.
Well, it's a risk too, you know. I mean, obviously, like,
yeah.
you're
like, you know who I am. You're my friend. You know where I live. You trust me. You know I can go to
you
the
become
shop.
a part of the channel,
Exactly.
and then now when something doesn't go right, then people start making all these assumptions and things, and they think that there's all this drama when in fact it's just really complicated. But then it's like, man, do I want to do this again with somebody else? Do I want to rely that much on somebody else as like a partner, kind of, you know, or like?
Well, I would like to be. I told him, I said, like, you know, ideal world, ideal thing is like, I'd like this whole thing to be in a position where we can just basically kind of continue doing the things that we've been doing with no, like, you don't have to like be in a position to like rely on me, or it's very complicated. There's no real right way to say it or put it or do it, but it's just like,
And that's
do I want to hang out with Trevor and work on cars and build cars? Sure. We've been doing it for years, and, you know, I don't want to stop, but I have to look at what makes sense for me financially and what I want to do, and figure out a common denominator, you know, a median where I can do everything and everything makes sense. And that's where I'm at right now. That's why I said I don't want to say something to him that I can't fulfill or that I will regret or whatever. And, like, you know, basically I need to think about what it is that I need and what I want 100%, and then give him a cut and dry answer so he knows where to go and what to do. And, you know, and that's
the tough
what we're
thing too,
working
is
on,
because
so.
like even now it's like he doesn't want to tell me no, I'm done, and like I almost wish he would, you know, in some aspects.
No, but
because-
I
because
don't.
Then I could move forward, and I think the answer is right now is that you're done for now. Potentially, maybe I don't know.
I know it's, dude. I know.
Like,
I'm as flustered and frustrated as you are with it. But here's like,
Yeah, because it's like, what do I do to move forward? I mean, like I said, the merchandise is now out of the shop at my house. I could technically move everything home, and it'd be the one-man freaking Trevi show. My overhead would go from here to about here. Instead of losing this much money a month, I would make this much money a month, you know, and like, I don't know.
I do promise that I'm not going to drag you through any more shit or ignore you. Like, you know, I'm not going to say, hey, I'll give you an answer in 6 months. Like, I'm not like, but, you know, you showed up to my house. I wasn't even expecting you to be here. I'm glad you came. We had a conversation. So you showed up unannounced, which is fine. You're welcome anytime.
He wasn't texting me back.
You're welcome anytime.
Fired up.
But what I'm getting at is I haven't had any time to even think about anything other than the conversation we've been having this whole time. So it's like, and we're inside having a conversation for the last 3 hours, came outside into my garage to make this video. So, you know, like, you know, after this, you know, Trevor can leave and go home. I'm going to go back inside and, you know, sit down and eat something and, you know, think and, you know, just go over scenarios and whatever. And just, I'm here, he's here, you know, no bad blood, no hard feelings, no nothing. Like, you know,
Yeah.
figure out where we go from
I
here.
mean, it's like I told you, the thing that I want to do the most is work on cars with my friends.
Yeah, and I do too. And that's I think, you know, I do too. I don't want to be in my garage by myself all the time. Sometimes it's nice. Like, hey, you know, but in the scheme of things, you know.
Yeah.
So it's complicated, but you know, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, and the universe never lies, buddy. No, right? But we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna come to a conclusion here before long about what we're doing. And I did make a YouTube channel.
Yeah, and so that's I guess what I was going to close this out with is that Sean does have his own YouTube channel.
There's
and
nothing on there yet,
Instagram.
but there will be. And Instagram, yeah.
And we kind of talked about it too. He was like waiting to make a video. He was going to sit down in front of the camera and like talk, and like we even discussed that. And I would rather do this in front of you guys so that way there's no like back and forth, and that like if you guys want to go and support him and follow the things that you want to do, not because of drama or like assumptions or this like back and forth he said she said stuff, it would be if you guys want to go watch the things that he wants to
Basically
produce.
Stuff I'm doing here. Yeah, I don't even know what exactly it's going to be. It's obviously, you know, different than what we're doing at the shop and stuff together. I do all kinds of stuff, so I might, you know, start making some videos randomly and just, you know, that way you guys can kind of see what I do on the side on a personal level compared to what I do, you know, with Trevor at work. And it's just my handle is just Sean's Automotive on YouTube, and then same with Instagram. So.
Put the link in the description too. And like I said, he has been doing some stuff on eBay, and so like I mean, what he needs to be doing is, and that's where I go is like, if he would just tell me, hey, I can't do this, I want to do my own thing. Like then I would be like, okay. I found, you know, I'd be on Marketplace and, you know, instead of me searching for Honda Civic hatchbacks and, you know, Ford F-250s or whatever, I would also add the Honda ATC to my search, and then I would see it and I would be like, hey, Sean, oh, check that there's some three-wheelers up in Denver today or whatever, you know, and he'd be like, oh, cool, thanks, man. But like he wasn't even responding to me.
Yeah, I need it.
But now that we're talking again, obviously it's a big thing, but if you guys want to go over there, support him. He needs to be posting on there.
Yeah.
I actually knew you had a YouTube channel a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
And
like
you said, I was gonna make. It wasn't a bashing Trevor or a shit talking video. I was just gonna sit down and just say, hey, like I'm not in jail. Here I am. I know, you know, everybody's been wondering in the comments and whatnot. So I was basically just gonna say, hey, all right, I'm right here. This is why. This is what I'm doing. This is where my head's at. This is where my mind's at, and so on and so forth. And then at the same time, you know, like. You guys, you know, you like to watch what we do at the shop. We build cool stuff there. I come home the weekends. I have all kinds of crazy stuff around my house. You know, I have tractors and, you know, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, like all kinds of stuff, you know, customers' cars. I'm always doing something. So, you know, I figured I might as well have a personality of my own over here too. And you guys can kind of see the other side of stuff that I do at home. So I thought that'd be cool. So yeah, if you guys, I'd appreciate it. You know, check it out. There's nothing on there now, but there's some stuff on my Instagram, nothing on YouTube, but I'm going to start. I've been waiting basically for this conversation with Trevor to, you know, because I didn't want to piss him off either. You know, he's my homie. I didn't want to do that. So yeah, check it out.
And I was trying to. There's been so many emotions with me of like frustration.
I felt the same way.
Empathy, because I know his understanding with like the bills. You know, I know what his bills cost. Like I know what I pay him. Like I know all of those things. And it wasn't just as simple as here, I'll just pay you more. You know, here I have this big bag of money, I'm going to give you more of it. It was like, okay, we got this one, and like
if Trevor could pay me $200 an hour and he had the money, he probably would. You know, if I said, hey, that's what I need, and you know, he knows what my capabilities are and what we're able to do together. It's just a matter of having the money coming in to go out, and you know, so
yeah. So a lot of that is me. Right when I need you the most.
I'm right here. You know where I live.
It's only, how much is it a month? What's the price? Full attention.
I can't tell you how many times people
full attention. That's what I see, and that's the thing. That's what I need. Kind of because I don't want Sean to have to come home and like have to work on things in his garage. He needs to have like his 6-door F-250 in here, and this be like his passion project garage.
I've had
not his like need to make money garage.
I've had to turn my hobbies into lucrative things in order to just survive and still enjoy myself. So yeah, I'm not go crazy, but yeah.
And I mean, obviously, I wasn't paying you like nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, the issue is that his expenses, obviously, 6 kids,
increased.
wife doesn't work,
She stays at home.
a $2,400 mortgage.
Which my wife has every ability to go work, but it was our, we had our last baby. She wanted to stay at home and take care of her, and I wanted to give her a life in which she can do that. So that's what.
So yeah, it's not
That's
like
what I did.
It's not like I was paying Sean like $14 an hour to like,
Yeah.
work for me. What was it? I mean,
We had a decent, honestly, there's plenty of people out there that would be thrilled to make the money that I was making, and it's, I just, you have to live up to you have to make enough money and live to your means, and I had to put myself in a position where I finally at now to be where we're at for me and the family and everybody, and it obviously costs more money, and that's where things went. So I'm not, a 15-year-old kid, living in his mom's basement anymore, like, we all have at one point, and no bills, no responsibilities, nothing. So,
well, is there anything else you want to add? I don't want to. Trying to think if we should like summarize it, because it went all the way around. There's a lot of
we basically touched on
distractions, but I guess if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments or any concerns. Sean will probably be in there. Technically,
I'll be on. Yeah.
If he started a YouTube channel and his goal is to get people to go and watch his things, he needs to be on the comments commenting on these things. So if you guys have any specific questions for him, put them down in the comments. If you have any questions for me, I feel like this was a good video. I feel like we didn't get like too personal with the things. Obviously, no bad blood. I think there
never has been. Like sometimes I want to kill Trevor, but that's irrelevant.
I don't even think you. There's no reason.
No, we've never. I don't think we've ever even had like a loud
Not really.
Argument
Our arguments are always not even arguments. Like our talks.
I'll just ignore you. So
I don't do
pull
that.
up.
I will. I did. Don't tell me to pull up because I will. Which this case, don't tell me to pull up and I still will.
And you still will, yeah.
Is that it?
And that's it, yeah.
Is that the questions?
We can always make another one too.
We'll make another. Maybe Sean will be back on the channel. Maybe it won't. We don't know.
Trevor will know. Trevor will know soon. I think. I don't know. I'll be back there one way or another, at some point in some shape or fashion. So. Whether I'm getting paid from him to be there, or I'm just coming to say hi to you guys.
Maybe, hopefully, if you guys go follow him, maybe he could do so good that he could afford to pay me, and then I don't have to worry about paying my friends. You could worry about how to do it.
Yeah, I'll just
all the stress will be on me
on YouTube, and
I'll just come over. I'll be working for him. It'll be nice.
The roles reversed.
Honestly, like imagine that you just show up
hilarious.
and you don't have to deal with it or pay bills or taxes or insurance.
Yeah.
See you guys later.